Here we
Do it,
go.
Rockapella.
Welcome to Earl and the Idiot, the show that gives you the answers you need to take your business to the next level. With Earl Flormata, one of Vancouver's most sought-after business and marketing consultants, author of Business Engine Optimization, consultant to over 60 successful businesses, an all-around evil marketing genius with a combined total of more than $70 million worth of sales to his credit. And some idiot. Okay, here we go.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Earl and the Idiot, another episode where I'm here to ask the dumb questions to get you the smart answers from our resident Earl.
And float away, apparently. That was hilarious.
As you can see, joining you from outer space. Boy, it disappeared. I went through a wormhole. Upgraded my computer. Got a fancier video thing now that lets me join you from exciting places. I'm gonna have to come up with funny backgrounds to
Absolutely. There you
join
go.
from now on.
That's awesome.
For the time being,
Since you don't have your endless supply of crazy mugs, we're gonna have an endless supply of crazy backgrounds now.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just blur it. Oh yeah, look at that.
There you go. Well, you're looking sharp, my friend. Looking all fancy with your new computer and your new camera. So there you go.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm enjoying it. Sometimes you know the HD gets a little too HD, and you kind of remember that you're over 40.
Yeah, well, when I use the Super HD, you can actually see that I can actually indeed grow some facial hair for as little as it is. This is me not shaving after a week.
It's not just a legend; it's real.
There you go. Sadly, I still look like a prepubescent 13-year-old trying too hard, but it is what it is. So there you go.
I find this distracting. Yeah, like the fact that there's like this little section of clear through like a little window, little portal.
Oh, the same thing happens. It's because of the headphones. Actually, it's because of the headphones. Here, just check this out.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
If I grab headphones and do the same thing, like there's this magic bubble of you can see through them. And
you don't live in a record store.
It doesn't know what to do with it. It's like, what the hell am I supposed to do with that bubble? Is that part of his head or not? Yeah. So there you go. That's actually why I end up wearing these things instead. So there you go.
Yeah. All right. Well, how are you doing, Earl? How's your week going?
Week is going all right. It's been slow the last little bit here because I've just been in building mode for a lot of stuff that I'm working on. But it's been good buildy stuff. So I've been a bit of a hermit. I haven't been going out to networking functions for the last little bit here because I've just been in building mode. So I'm like, I'm in the groove. I'm like, I don't want to stop what I'm doing. Screw the networking event. I'll do the next one. So yeah, some days I just want to build stuff.
Are you relieved to have some time to just sit and build, or do you pine for the networking events? Do you miss them?
Half, both sides. So by nature, I'm an introvert because I grew up programming and was the quiet kid, just left leave you in the corner with my screens in darkness, and I will take over the world for you. But that was my nature. But then to move into business, I had to learn how to go on stage, talk to people, shake hands, kiss babies, and all that sort of thing. So, I just shift from time to time from introvert to fake extrovert, right? So so there you go.
Well, what I figured out about you is that you're the guy that you figure out the systems for everything. You just want to know the system to solve every problem. And I think that being social and a good speaker, you just had to figure out the exact systems and you just execute those systems.
The problem is that yes, but being an introvert, doing those things is super draining to me. So when I go on stage and I speak, or when I run like a virtual event and there's like 30 people, I'm answering all the questions and that sort of thing, it's super draining for me because it's like, oh man, like on the spot, do I know the answer to this? No, maybe, we'll see. So the introvert wants to, and my go-to persona is research the crap out of everything. That was my old job. If I'm not allowed to guess when the report I'm about to write is for like an oxygen tank on something, for dudes that are actually in space and not just space zoom. It's like, hey, so if I screw up and the calculations are up, everybody dies. Oh, well, I guess I should look this stuff up and double check, triple check, quadruple check the math. So anything where it's like live, or in person, it's a little more draining to me than my regular function, right? So I can do it now, but like you said, I studied the systems, figured out how to do it. But after a stage thing, I like collapse. I'm like exhausted. I throw everything I have onto that stage, my heart, my soul, and everything I got, and then that's it. I'm done. Afterwards, I just take a nap. And that's kind of it.
Yeah, they say that's the difference between introverts and extroverts, is that extroverts have their batteries charged by social situations, and extroverts have them drained.
Yeah, exactly. So
And
I throw everything I got on the stage, so it's like, hey, there you go. And then when it's all said and done, people are happy with the result afterwards usually, but I'm exhausted. So then I need a nap. It's like, okay, I'm gonna go sleep now. So
I've always been the other way. I get charged up like whenever I'm the only person I know who says they like public speaking. Like I look forward to it. I really enjoy it. It gets me excited, and I can't wait to get up there. And and whenever I do have a good, successful event of some kind, I'm riding that high all night. I can't get to sleep. I'm super jazzed.
Gotcha. No, at that point I'm like, okay, let me go take a nap now. I fall down. So I perform well. It's just that it's tiring for the opposite side of the coin, right? So it's like, oh man. So
no, it all comes off good. You look like you are dyed-in-the-wool extrovert. So I think you're doing okay.
Well, it's not that I don't enjoy it. It's just like I said, it's just energy taxing. So
Right.
I do like it. It's just afterwards, it's like, oh man, that was rough. All right, I can go hide in a corner with my drink and then type on the keyboard again. So there you go.
Whereas I signed up for musical theater when I was in high school, so that tells you anything.
Yeah, no, I was horrified when I had to go practice my piano in front of a recital or whatever else and perform in front of people before. It's like, yeah, no, I don't want to do any of that. Like, why are you learning that? Who's going to hear this? Me.
So is the fact that you've just been so busy building stuff, is that why we haven't been coming up with topics and we're leaning on Mr. AI to do it for us?
Yeah, a little bit, I guess. I've just been busy building stuff, and it's hilarious though. Our last couple of shows, we're just like, yeah, screw it. Let's just ask ChatGPT how and it comes up with really good stuff. And so back to like this show, we asked ChatGPT, like, give us some examples of bad marketing, and it did not fail to deliver. So I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool, actually. So
yeah, it's here's what I realized with ChatGPT is, or with any AI, like with AI drawing programs, if you're like, well, it's not really art because the AI did it or whatever.
Right.
See, if you're an artist, you're a painter, or as like I do more writing than visual arts. The first thing you got to do is come up with what you're trying to make.
Right.
Like I say, if I write some nonfiction or short story or whatever, I do the writing best in the shower. Like I'm having a shower and I suddenly get a great idea. Woody Allen, not that I want to compare myself to Woody Allen, I guess, but he apparently thought best in the shower. So he just have like 30 showers a day whenever he needed a good idea to go in the shower.
There you go.
But like I write the story all there in my head. And then it's a question of sitting down and using this tool called a keyboard to make it exist. Right. So what AI is kind of doing is it's leveling
the taking the shower for you.
It's no. The shower is still what's necessary, is the original idea. Right? Like coming up with bad marketing ideas. We had to think of that ourselves.
Right.
So, but if you're like, I'm more specifically with AI, you have to think of the picture you want. I want Frankenstein riding a unicycle.
Right.
I want Frankenstein riding a unicycle, and I want it drawn like a Garfield cartoon.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So if you were a good artist, if you were a cartoon drawing artist, you could think of that and then execute it with your hand and pen. Right? With AI, it takes the hand and pen out of it. The hand and pen is the AI. The AI is basically the brush, the tool you're using.
Right.
But you still got to come up with the idea to tell the AI what to write.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's not coming up with the ideas.
Well, like I keep seeing everywhere I look, you're not going to be replaced by an AI. You're going to be replaced by a human who can use AI better than you.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
So,
and again, it's you're using the painting analogy. You'll be outpainted. You might have a great idea for painting, but if you can't execute it, you'll be outpainted by the guy who can execute it. Whereas now, AI is the tool, so you got to learn how to use the AI tool.
Well, I saw this horrifying thing on the internet, and what they did was they attached a pen to a 3D printer, and attached it to ChatGPT, And so now it writes out your homework by hand, looking like your handwriting, but ChatGPT is powering it. Yo, man, like, so teachers, universities, whatever, like if you're asking for handwritten stuff, you don't stand a chance against the 3D printer and the ChatGPT.
Yeah,
It's like it's
well,
literally doing your homework for you, making it look like you wrote it. And that's
they're gonna
terrifying.
have
And I'm like,
they're gonna
that's
have
crazy.
to have everybody writing by hand on paper in the classroom. It's the only solution
Right. To prove that you actually did it.
to prove you actually did it. Like even if you just have people there typing on their laptop, you don't know they haven't even loaded up something beforehand or they're doing it right now. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I saw a Reddit post of someone who wrote their essay and it didn't pass the plagiarism check. She's like, I wrote this thing myself. And they ran it through an AI to check it for plagiarism and it failed the plagiarism check and they accused her of using AI to write it. Or I guess, but not a plagiarism check, but a check. They would have some
AI
algorithm
checker,
now to check
yeah.
if it's being written for AI and it didn't pass because she wrote it too closely to what the AI would have done.
Well, it's funny how that's slowly changing, right? Like first the computers are asking you, hey, like if you can identify all the pictures on this thing with a tree, right? We'll think that you're human. And now all of a sudden the humans are failing the human test, right? It's just
Yeah. I think we're gonna have to. I was just thinking about this the other day. You got to you never know if someone in a forum is actually a robot. You
Right.
might if you're trying to argue with someone in a forum, it might just be a robot. We're gonna have to have chats with people now, where the first thing you do is send each other a captcha. Before I start arguing with you, you want to tell me what these letters are, please?
Exactly. Which one of these is a school bus?
Yeah. How many of these pictures have airplanes in them?
Yeah, there you go. But
Anyway,
if
all
humans
right.
are failing this, then yeah, it's getting scary.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see what Chat GPT came up with. I finally got my own account and started playing around with it. It's
Oh,
interesting.
really? Okay.
I realized,
Uh,
not to digress, the thing with Chat GPT, it's best when you want it to do something, not when you want it to tell you something.
well, isn't that all machinery? You want all machinery to do something, not tell you something, or tell you to do something?
Well,
So,
no, but I'm saying like, what's you want to know what's the best way to cook a pot roast or something,
right.
right? Chat GPT goes, well, I don't know about taste. I'm an AI program. I don't know these things, but based on some stuff I read, I think this might be a good thing, whatever, blah, 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 right?
Mhm.
So it's like, it's not good. It's not a good source of data right now. It could be, but it seems like they're sort of taking that function out of it because it would be a little bit too scary if it knew all that data.
Well, I
Or
heard
too,
that they gave it access to its own source code, so that's horrifying. I'm like, oh, this is how you get Terminators. Do you want Terminators? This is how you get Terminators. That's freaking Skynet. So it's like, all right, well, let's just give it the ability to write its own code. Uh-oh.
it will begin to learn at a geometric rate.
Exactly. But that's the thing. Like they've been using this thing for writing code, and
Yeah.
it writes code like a senior level developer. And it's kind of scary. I'm like, wait, what? Did that just write the code like at a senior level? And like you put your own code in there, it starts debugging it, and it goes, oh yeah, this is why this doesn't run. And then it goes,
Jesus.
oh, and by the way, here's how to make this more efficient. And it cuts a bunch of lines out, switches it around, gives you like recursive loops and stuff. And I'm like, wow, that's like my teacher in computer science school schooling me all over again.
Oh my God. I'm excited that it can do Excel formulas.
Oh yes, that's awesome. I love that fact. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, can you write me Excel formula for this?
Yeah. Because the number of times that I've like got a bunch of figures or whatever in an Excel sheet, I'm like, geez, I wish I could, add these all up and divide them by 6 and find out what the average something is. And I could
Right.
tell you what I want. I just don't know the terms to type it in. So I could just tell
Yeah.
ChatGPT make something that does this. Anyway, we're off topic here. Look at us go.
There you go. All right. Well, so this is what we asked for. We asked the magic Chat GPT genie the magic question, like what are some examples of bad marketing practice? And we came up with this at the end of the last episode. We're like, okay, so if we don't come up with a topic to talk about for this show, what are we going to ask Chat GPT? And you came up with this idea. I'm like, oh, yeah, I love it. So I fed it into the machine, and it gave us seven different things to look at. I'm like, that's decent.
Bad marketing practices. It's fun to look at the bad stuff. It's more fun. I think it's more entertaining.
Well, yeah.
So let's see. Number one, let's dive right into it. Number one, false or misleading advertising. This is when companies make claims about their products that are not true or exaggerate their benefits to deceive customers. Your thoughts, Earl. Go.
Oh my
Is it a good
gosh.
idea to do false advertising?
No, it is not.
Oh,
But
you agree with GPT then?
I agree with our new AI overlord. You shouldn't
Yeah.
be you shouldn't be doing false or misleading advertising. I really hate it when I end up like, oh, that sounds awesome, and then I go for it, and then it's like a bait and switch, or you go for it like this looks amazing, but yet the crazy thing is in different modalities in different markets, the inverse, the opposite, has been proven true, but drives me crazy. So
What do you
in the
mean?
mobile gaming space, so I used to make apps, right? We made like 3,000 plus apps in my tenure over at that app company, and you know what's working right now is the exact is this false or misleading advertising.
Hmm.
But the problem is that it's 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 good and it's bad at the same time. So they make these game previews that look
Yeah.
amazing, and you
Yeah.
see this game preview and you actually play the real game and it's nowhere near like the preview. It's like this the
Hmm.
the gameplay, the function is not even close. You're like, hey, this isn't what I signed up for, right?
Yeah.
But the thing is, the games these days are built. There's a thing called a Skinner's box, and the Skinner's box is this thing that measures the efficacy of how addictive something is, right? So because I was studying obviously games and building games and whatnot, 'cause I'm
Mhm.
building my own game. We'll reveal that one later. But in a Skinner's box, you want to figure out ways that make something more addictive. And so I studied a lot of slot machines, gambling addiction, that sort of thing. And some of these things that they add in that Skinner's box is they'll play 7 seconds of music, but only 5 seconds of it, right? So your brain just goes, I need to hear the rest of the song. And so you put your quarter in a slot machine, it plays 5 seconds of 7 second music. And there's more to it because you hear the pattern and then the pattern
Yeah.
interrupts. And anybody with OCD screams silently on the inside, going, I need to hear the rest of the damn song. But because it's like 5 seconds of a 7 second piece, you play it again and you hear the next 5 seconds. And now you're at 10 seconds, but it's 7 seconds. So it's a 14-second piece. So it's always off. It's like those assholes who sell hot dogs and hot dog buns in different quantities, and you have to
Yeah.
buy an absurd amount of hot dogs and hot dog buns for those two vertices to meet. It's like, wait, I have to buy 60 of these things for us to get 60 of each? Like, yeah, that's how to get that number. Otherwise, you can have an odd numbered thing. I think too many hot dogs, too many hot dog buns. And so this whole false or misleading advertising, it's working because of the efficacy of the nature of the game to get you hooked. But it still pisses me off because I'm sitting there watching this thing like, hey, I want to play that game. And then you download it and then it's nowhere near it. It's like, but then you play the game, but due to the Skinner's box, 5 seconds of 7 second music, I'm still playing the stupid game that I didn't sign up for. Right.
Hang on, maybe this is the idiot kicking in here, but what
Right.
is the Skinner's box? What is Skinner a person who
If
invented it?
Skinner, yeah, it was a guy who invented it. They looked up all the different things. It's just called the Skinner's box. It's all the
Where's the
different
box going?
things that make something addicting. Like, what are the things that cause something to be more and more addicting, right? So what makes a slot machine so addicting? Like, what makes certain video games so addicting? So for example, in a video game, the Skinner's box model would be, how soon can I get to a reward, right? And when you play the video games at the very beginning, you get awards right away. You get awards for freaking breathing. It's like, oh, look, you breathed today. Yay, you get an award. And so the awards get harder and harder to get as the game progresses. So obviously, the addiction factor is harder to get to, but it's still just enough to keep you hooked. But because they got you hooked for so long in the beginning, well, now you're here, right? And that's what Candy Crush does, right? It's super easy to pass the first couple levels of Candy Crush. You get the level a couple of hundred in there, it's also, oh, this is really tough now, right? But because there's that stupid reward at the end, you're like, oh yeah, let's totally do this. But putting in the monetization factors, they make it just hard enough that if you bought something for $1, that would solve whatever problem you had, and that's how they get you, right? So unfortunately, it works. I disagree that you should not be doing false or misleading advertising. But the sad fact is it does work, but it's a bad marketing practice for sure.
Do you know why it's called a Skinner's box? I looked it up while you were talking.
I don't even remember why, because this is circa.
I have the answer for you. I looked it up. It's BF Skinner actually would make actual boxes to study conditioning lab animals.
Oh, there you go.
It's a box, yeah, a box to put the animal in. It contains a bar or key that the animal subject can manipulate in order to obtain reinforcement.
Oh, so you push a button and one of them zaps you, and another one gives you food, right? That
So-
style.
Yeah. Actually, I remember seeing something about this that they gave monkeys a button where you press it. If you press it like a set number of times, like 4 times, you get a treat. Right?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4 treat. They made another one where the number of presses was random, maybe 6, 8, 4, 2, whatever. The monkeys pressed the button more in the random one. Like it was basically gambling. It's
Right.
like, oh, how many presses is it going to be? They had to know how many presses it was going to be.
Yep. And then they also did the adverse, like the inverse of that, right? So it was every time you push this button X number of times, you get a banana. But if you push it Y number of times, all the monkeys in the cage get electric shock. And so what would happen is that the greedy monkeys would go push to get the banana anyways, because they'd still get their banana. They didn't give a crap if everybody else got zapped, right?
Yeah.
But then eventually what happened was, so they had the zappy button and then the regular button. So the regular button was the one that you just described, right? To push it like X number of random times, and you had no idea what was going to come out eventually. But it was always a banana on that one. And then on the banana zappy button, the other monkeys would just prevent every monkey from touching that button, and they would just stop. And the hilarious thing is, after generation, they would just teach their kids never press that button. And after a couple of generations, no one pushed the zappy button ever again, and they keep pushing the rando button and just spamming that thing for bananas, right? So like it's interesting watching animal behavior, because humans are just the same damn thing.
Sounds like how legends get started. Oh, do not press that button or the gods will zap you.
Yeah, pretty much. That angers the gods. they come and zap your ass. So
but here's what I was like, getting back to false or misleading advertising. Here's what I'll say about that. False or misleading advertising can get you a short-term win.
Yeah.
Right. You can make the sale, but you're not going to make the second sale or the third sale. Good
or
sales,
you're hesitant.
good sales, good.
Yeah, you're hesitant to do business with that person again because they gave you that false or misleading. So I'll give you an example of false or misleading advertising. There were these marketer guys, and they were at a trade show. And one of their things was you can enter to win a chance at $10,000. So, thinking out loud, like, oh, that means that everybody who's in this bucket gets a chance to win $10,000. So they drew the winner, and they gave them the scratch ticket, because that is a chance. Oh my gosh, everybody was in an uproar. They were so angry. Like, everyone's like, wait, I stayed till the end of this event for this dumb thing, and all you got is $1 scratch ticket. Yeah, exactly. But to be truthful, they did give you a chance to win $10,000. Just the way that it was marketed, the way that it was said. That's
the misleading rather than the false.
Right. So that's misleading. So because it was misleading, there's a whole bunch of people in town who will never do business with those two jerks ever again. It's like, that wasn't cool, right? So they got all the attention, but then it burnt up, and then all their goodwill is gone. So
it's short-sighted. I mean, it's basically the same as a criminal. A criminal's like, oh, I just want to be able to take something without having to genuinely, provide a service or a product, right? Give any value. Right. So, but it's like you can steal a purse or whatever, but then now you're afraid. Now you can't go to that part of town. It's not
sustainable. Like how often can you keep stealing before you get caught?
Yeah.
Right. And
whereas if you sell with honesty and integrity, and then that person recommends other people to you, or they come back to you with business proposition, or
right.
You know what I mean? They're never going to
some of the stuff we
get
teach,
those opportunities.
Upsell, downsell, cross sell. I ain't buying from that guy ever again, right? I don't care what he's selling, right? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the offer is. Doesn't matter how good it sounds. I no longer trust them, right?
Yeah. Like, you can't refer your client to someone else and get a commission,
because the monkey button might zap me.
Yeah, exactly.
Or my friends.
All right. Okay, here's an interesting one. This one we could talk about for a while. Number 2 from the chat GPT overlords: bad marketing practices, spamming. This is when companies send unwanted or unsolicited emails or messages to potential customers. This can be annoying and can damage the company's reputation. Do you concur?
So again, I concur, but back to practicality. It works, though, is the problem, and that is a problem. right?
Yeah.
So in my older email, so in my Hotmail days, right? I swear Hotmail just sold it to every spammer in the universe, or people figured out the algorithm to figure out people's names on Hotmail. Because
Mhm.
I would get all sorts of spam, like, have bigger penis, have bigger breasts. It's like, well, usually you want one or the other, not both.
Yeah, guys, narrow it down.
But they would just send everything, and I'm like, oh yeah, maybe that's why we're all confused today. But yeah, it's just insane. Like the spamming, it's not a good practice, right? Because it costs money to send all of these emails eventually over time, right? Like depending on what platform you're using to send all these things, it costs money to send a text message, it costs money to make a phone call, it costs money to do all these things. And the problem with spamming is that they'll do it from some other country where they just don't care, right? Like let's spam stuff from China via SMS. Ain't no one gonna catch you.
Yeah.
And the 0.01% of people who end up buying from you, the problem is that it's so cheap that it's still profitable.
Right.
Right. So just because it's cheap and profitable doesn't mean you should do it. Like ChatGPT said, it starts harming the brand of your business. But if all you're doing is you're hawking generic crap all the time anyways, some people just don't care, right? So these days, because, for example, the patent on Viagra ran out, right? So now there's other people that are allowed to make that same chemical compound or similar chemical compounds without infringing the trademark rights or whatever else. So those are the things that end up showing up on the spam list because they're generic, they cost pennies to make and dollars to purchase, because the intrinsic value of whatever that magic blue pill does is there, right? So they'll still spam to get the result because the 0.01% of people who happen to be there at the right time at the right place that want whatever they're selling will buy. But again, not good practice, not good over time. Like there is intrinsic value to having a brand that is recognized, that people will flock to at a later date. And it's really tough to point referrals to a generic who knows what that is a spam, right?
Yeah. So what about if you're more like a more a more local sort of business, like you're
like a chiropractor or something, like
Yeah. So
yeah, but if you
like,
texted everybody in the city, hey, does your back hurt? Call a chiropractic place, right? Yeah, you might get a couple of takers, but you keep texting the entire city. Number one, you're going to go to jail because someone's going to report you, and eventually they'll take you down, and the CRTC or whoever is watching over this thing will come find the crap out of you. So again, like you were saying earlier, it's for short-term gain, but you end up hurting more in the long run, right? And the fines will outweigh the earnings, right? So it's just not worth it to spam stuff no matter what.
I wonder if we'll find that's a unifying feature of these bad marketing ideas. Is it seems like it'll win in the short term, but long term it doesn't really build success.
Kind of like, so it's not on the list, but like black hat SEO. So black hat SEO exists. It's something you're not supposed to do. If Google ever catches you, they'll burn your website to the ground, and no one will ever find it ever again. But the problem is it works. So it works for a week or two, and then they find you, and then they just rip you off the internet, right? So and as they should, right? But black hat, is not good for any long-term sort of thing. But there's aces and there's places, right? There's a right time and a wrong time to do a bad marketing play, right? If you're doing black hat SEO for a contest that has a finite amount of time, who cares if they burn the site to the ground because your contest is over, right? And the argument there is, it's fine to do black hat SEO and those types of things because we don't need the asset afterwards. The problem is, you should be looking at reusing assets. Like part of business is, how much does it cost to get this off the ground? How much do we make? How much of it can we reuse so that when we do it again, it costs us less moving forward for cost per acquisition? So you're just burning all your assets to the ground. Like, pretend you're a realtor and you have those open house sites. Like after every open house, do you light every single one of them blaze? No, you use them for the next open house, right? Like that's dumb. You should probably use your sign again, right? Like, we're bitching about, single-use plastic straws, but if you have single-use open house signage, that's just as bad.
What would you say is the right number of emails to send to your mailing list per day or per week?
It depends by which So what type of mailing list you have? Is it B2C? Is it B2B?
Yeah.
Right.
Let's say B2C.
If it's B2C, the right amount of type for the mailing list is, and here's the crazy part, as much as the audience will bear. As much as the audience will bear. Now, the other key to this is it's building that relationship. So if people, have they care who you are and what you're up to. Like, let's pretend that you're pregnant, right? And you're giving updates about what's coming down the pipe and da 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 da. Da, here's the baby. This is how you're feeling, and your audience has that rapport and connection to you. They want to hear from you every day, right? They want to know how you're feeling. They want to know how you're doing, right? They want to support you, your family, your business. So types like stuff like that, where it's not a hard pitch every bloody day, right? Because if it's just a hard, hey, want to buy my stuff? Hey, want to buy my stuff? Hey, look at other stuff you can buy from me. You can want to buy my stuff. If that's what you're sending out every single day, then every day is too much, right? But
Right.
if you got this connection and rapport with your clientele, hell, you can do multiple times a day. We ran a campaign selling, of all things, NFTs. So it's just JPEGs on the internet, right? And
That didn't have long run value.
Some of these campaigns, we were sending 14 emails a day. People were happy to hear from us because that type of clientele in that niche market wants to hear repeat. That's why they're all on Twitter all day long, because they want to see the constant feed of craziness over and over again. So 14 emails a day to those guys was, oh yeah, this is great. Hey, they're keeping us up to date. If my haircut guy sent me 14 emails in any span of any time, whatever, within like a month, I'd shoot him. Right? Yeah. It's like, nope, can't do that. So again, it's message market match, right? So how many emails can you send? Whatever the market will bear, right? But you can find it, and there's nothing new under the sun. Just watch other successful email campaigns, build something very similar, and then adjust as you see fit. It's no different from the instructions on the recipe: salts to taste. Yeah, salts to taste.
Salt to taste. So even like one chiropractic to another chiropractic office, they might be different.
In chiropractic, if you're dealing with a pain that is excruciating, debilitating, and you can't move, right? I wouldn't mind being emailed every day. So once upon a time, I used to do martial arts for a living. I did some stuff you're probably not supposed to do. My back is all sorts of messed up from the back in those days. Sometimes I wake up, I can't move. It's like, oh, that's good. So when my kids were small, I'm crawling on the floor, they're crawling on the floor. They think I'm playing with them. I'm not playing with them. I can't actually get from point A to point B. So if you emailed me every day for a debilitating thing where it's like, this is how to fix that thing. This is a couple stretches you can do. Here's a couple of, wall exercises you can do. Here's to use a tennis ball, put it here, do this sort of thing. I would enjoy those emails every day. Here's another example. We did one for an email group. These guys do like $10 million a year, and they sent out what are those things that like it's like your horoscope.
Yeah.
In your horoscope, you want this damn thing daily. If you're in the horoscope field, you want your daily horoscope. So you got your daily horoscope, your weekly horoscope, your monthly horoscope, your quarterly horoscope, whatever the phases of the moon there are, horoscope, right? So those guys expected an email every single day, because if they didn't get an email every single day, they would just flip the table, right? The same thing would go for the numerology guys. Hey, what's the numerology, blah, blah, blah for today? If your number is this, then this is your numerology report. So any of those types of things, you would be able to email daily, and your audience not only would like it, they would expect it. And if you gave anything less, you'd lose them, right? So again, message market match. If it's a debilitating thing and your back is literally killing you, and I signed up for this thing, even just reading about potential solutions to fix my like chronic pain that's debilitating, I can't even walk, I would entertain that email every single day, right? Right. But again, it depends, right? Like I'm not gonna. Please don't send me the big boob email every single day, please. Yeah.
Your boobs are playing big.
So my moves are big enough. Let's leave me alone.
Yeah.
I need to go. After this episode, I'm gonna go exercise.
This is proving to be a fruitful source of talking points, isn't it? We're only
absolutely.
2 in, and the show's almost over.
There you go.
Let's get one more in here. This one, I feel like it's kind of an overlap with false or misleading. Hang on. Lack of transparency. When companies are not transparent about their businesses, their business practices, they can lose the trust of their customers. This can happen when they hide information of pricing, ingredients, or other important details. So
Oh, man.
doesn't that kind of fall under false or misleading?
Yes and no. So lack of transparency is you can have there is such a thing as too many upsells. If you ever buy something and after you pay for it, but wait, there's more. Like, okay, cool. You know what? I'm good with, hey, we can augment your experience by adding this thing that the thing that you just bought, this would make that thing better. Cool. If you have 17 and a half upsells, and I'm just trying to get out of your stupid shopping cart at this point, like, that's just too many. So lack of transparency is, yes, we sold you this thing, but there's this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing and this thing. There is a line in the sand by which, okay, you know what? There's too many upsells. You just pissed off your client, right? There's only so much goodwill you've developed prior to them entering that funnel where you're going to separate them from their money. If you're going to hit me 17 times over the head, I'm not going to like you so much by the end of it.
So you're saying, as far as transparency goes, tell the person up front what they're getting into here.
What they're getting into and what they're missing, and then let them have the option to decide, hey, do I want this thing, that thing, this thing? So I'm going to buy a pair of shoes. Do I want the self-lacing laces? Do I want the stretchy laces right off that I never have to tie laces ever again, just to shove my foot in and it just stretches and it shrinks back again? Do I want the waterproofing?
How many cans of waterproofing do we all have at home? Because they always upsell you on them.
Right. And the shoe shine and everything else. Like there comes a time when it's like, okay, I have enough of this crap already, or you know what? I'll just tie my own damn shoes. It's fine. Right. So there's that limit, right? And you just don't want to go past that limit where you've just pissed off your customer base, right? It's just, there's too much is too much. Like there's nothing wrong with a good upsell. And if you don't have at least one, shame on you. But if you have 17 and a half, I hate you.
Nice. Well, should we save the rest of these for next week? We'll go on to our hack of the week and then we'll have another show out of this.
We could totally go to the hack of the week.
Nice. Did AI come up with this? This is good. Or did this sounds like you? Did you
no, the hack of the week was me.
There you go. I was like, wow, this AI has really learned how Earl thinks.
Oh, here you go. So here's the
hack of the week. I keep forgetting to plug in my microphone. It's just sitting right here.
So there's
hack of the week. Plug in your microphone.
Yeah, actually, when you're doing the podcast, plug in the mic. There's a good hack. Yeah. All right, so the hack of the week for this week is look at the bad marketing examples in your niche market. Just find them because they're out aplenty. There's tons. Just look at every other website in your sector, and you're going to see a bunch of horrible marketing examples, right? And then flip them around and call them out. Like actually call out others in your space and say, look, this is what everybody else is offering you. I think that's stupid. Here's what I'd like to offer you instead, right? And that changes the dynamic so hard. Flip them around and make your business stand out even more. So as an example, oh my gosh, there are people who are, in the coaching and consulting space, and they know better than make your offer a 30-minute session.
Right.
And these people are like these are like higher players in the game. I'm like, wait, your offer is fill in this form and let me pitch you for 30 minutes. and you're wondering why you're not getting any bookings. I thought you did this for a living, right? And so I've seen a bunch of these for even the chiropractor, come in for a free 30 minutes. Those 30-minute sessions are useless. They're just going to pitch you stuff, right?
Yeah.
There's one for the wealth, people who do financial planning for you. Those guys are terrible at this. They give you a 30-minute session on pitch, and it's like, this is not good. It's just like, every time I see one of these, I just cringe on the inside, going, have you not looked around your sector to see what everybody else is pitching? So imagine positioning yourself as, you ever get pitched by a financial planner? You ever wonder why their offer is, hey, why don't we talk to you for 30 minutes while we show you our entire repertoire of everything we can ever sell you? Call it a consulting thing and give that away for free. Hey, you want to sit around and watch 30 minutes of crap for free? Call it out, make fun of it, and then say, here are the 10 places that you lose money the most in taxes. And if you fix these 10 things, I guarantee you'll save at least $1,000 for your family forever. When was the last time your financial planner actually gave you money or found you money instead of taking money away from you? All of a sudden, you flip the script. You're completely different from everybody else, right? You're no longer the, hi, I work for insert, place here in a networking event. And everyone's like, go away. Right? This is like, oh, that guy's from this company. Right? And then your friend gets latched on. You see them say, right? So yeah, like let's look at your space, look at all the other websites, look at all the other offers, make fun of all the other offers. And then when people run into you, they're like, you know what, that actually makes sense. I just got pitched by 7 of your competitors. You're the only one who's made fun of your space and pointed out that, hey, this is the elephant in the room. I want to work with you, or at least I'll give you the time of day. Help me, right? And there you go. That's
nice.
There's that hack. Flip it around. And I enjoy doing that. It's just flipping stuff completely, 180. Sometimes, when people zig, if you just hard zag, sometimes that's the most effective. That's the most effective technique.
Yeah, I really like in sales. I like doing the unexpected as a salesperson. Like a guy I know who's a painter. He got called into he's quoting on a job. He got called into the office of this potential client. The client put the other competitors' quote out there, and he said, "Your quote's higher than the other guy." And my friend just said, "Yep." He said, "We're always higher than the other guys."
And what did the guy say?
And he got the job. He said, "Why?" I think he might have said something like, "Well, why are you higher?" He just explained why they charge more for the service they're offering, and the guy hired him. What you'd expect is, well, I'm really sorry about that. Tell you what, I'll bring my quote down to meet the other guy.
Right.
You know what I mean? But he just said, of course we're higher. Obviously we're higher.
Obviously we're higher. I like that. Obviously we're higher. Here's why. Yeah. Think about this and this and this and this. Well, like I actually had a lighting company I was talking to that we were working with before in the past, and they're more expensive than every other lighting company in their sector, but they also have triple the guarantee. So their guarantee is literally 3 times as good as every other place in the sector, but their price is not 3 times as high. So then what they said was, of course we cost more. When was the last time you put lights on your roof? You really want to climb the ladder and do it again? No, that's why we have better quality, better warranty. So you don't have to do all the warranty work. And if one of these things explodes, it's not because of us, it's because some outside thing, like a bird blew it up or whatever. Something bad happened. It wasn't because of the quality of the product. And they're like, you know what? I would happily pay more to never climb that ladder ever again. There you go.
Nice. Hang on, I want to try something here. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to test I'm going to test Jasper's got a chat feature now. I guess I saw the attention that ChatGPT was getting. Where is it?
But Jasper's using the fancy paid version, not the free one you just find on the internet. So Jasper sometimes comes up with a little better stuff because they got access to the gooder AI.
I'm going to ask it for a good sign off.
You're gonna ask it what?
For a way to sign off from the show today. I don't want to do any thinking. Oh my God, it's almost exactly what I say too. So before I say this, did Earl, any parting words of wisdom?
No, that was it. I'm curious. Oh my God, you asked we're so lazy now.
Right?
You asked the AI how to sign off the show. This is the turning point. Is this where like humanity jumps the shark at this point?
Yeah, we're all done now. Someone said, I think I said this before, maybe on the show before, but someone said that we were supposed to use robots to do all the manual labor so we could do more art. Instead, we've got the robots doing the art, so we have more time for manual labor.
Yeah, that too.
So, all right, everybody. Thank you for watching Earl and the Idiot. We hope you found something inspiring, informative, and entertaining to take away from the show. Don't forget to follow us on social media and get all the latest updates. Hashtag end of show. Hashtag Earl and the idiot.
Wow.
Isn't that exactly what I'd say already?
It even hashtag the show name. I am
Yeah.
impressed.
Well, I told it the
okay.
show name. Yeah.
Okay, I'm curious. What was the input you put in to get that
said,
last output?
See, this is what I'm saying. This is where the art comes in, is deciding on the input. I said, write me a good way to sign off from a marketing show called Earl and the Idiot.
Nice. There you
Hashtag
go.
end of
Like
show. I don't think hashtag end of show is really worth a lot. It's
no, but I mean, it's interesting what it came up with. I'm dutifully impressed. I found that, and we'll leave with this parting comment. I found that it's really good at writing short pieces. Like AI is really good at writing short pieces, and exceptionally good at summarizing things. At summarizations, it is better. I think it's better at summarizations than it is at writing, which is crazy. There you go.
Hang on, I got to try this.
What do you do?
I just thought of this again. You see, it's the input. Summarize Romeo and Juliet in 10 words. Faithful love between two star-crossed lovers leads to tragedy. Perfect.
There you go. That's it.
Unbelievable.
See? Summarization AI. It's a beautiful thing. And that being said, I'm going to hit the play out. Here we go.
Cool.
Thanks for listening to Earl and the Idiot. We hope you learned something you can take action on this week. For more information or to contact the show, visit earlandtheidiot.com. And until next time, remember what Shakespeare said. The fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool.